give a recommendation of something better.
You gotta do it your own way. I always say, like, you'll never dance like me. You'll only dance like you.
As long as you stay true to yourself and to your craft, you're already winning.
They're here to help educate you guys and to help push you in the right path of whatever you need, dance-wise, business-wise, as a female in general. So really keep that in mind when you're sitting here and you're listening to what they're talking about and what questions are asked.
The panelists to help all females. Newcomers, they get an idea of who's in the scene, who's actually doing things, has wisdom, what kind of wisdom there is to have in the scene.
Any other questions so far?
How do you stay motivated in such a male-dominated scene as a female?
Having females with you.
What if you're in a scene that doesn't have as much female, like B-girls?
Communicating with them.
When it comes to male and female, we like to separate, but actually we need to go together. When you have like men supporting your women, oh, non-stop, you're unstoppable. So find those really good-hearted like men to help support the women to build. And besides building with other B-girls, yeah, that's great. That's really good motivation too. But there's other people around you in this room will help you stay motivated as well. So definitely reaching out to like-minded people, and then have a goal and see how far you can reach that goal. And when you look back in a year, then you can be like, you've done the best you can.
Coming into a breaking scene where that is extremely male-dominated, they, as women, are coming in with stereotypes spoken about them already. For people who have been in the scene for a long time, who don't really have, they feel like they don't have anybody that they can go talk to. This is an opportunity for them to meet dancers that have been in the scene for a long time, and they feel like they can approach them a lot easier.
So you should be your best motivation. You know, your crew should not be your best motivation. You know, your boyfriend or girlfriend should not be your best motivation. Not your favorite dancer. Like, it really has to be you. That's the only way you're gonna have longevity with it.
I basically helped Desiree. I put her to the panelist. I told her who the B-girls were, told them what they did in the scene. So I basically kind of like put Desiree in a direction to who to go to for her to have the people to come and be part of the She's Got It.
The scene now for me, it's just building with one another. You have to build as far as the competition level. If that is your journey, like I said, like, you know, then you have to really take that path as an athlete, as an artist, to really put yourself out there. And you have to practice, you have to train, no matter, you know, and be consistent with it and travel, experience different scenes, experience different people. So that's how you come back with perspective and what you can learn how to do better for yourself. In order to push your limits, you have to be uncomfortable with the limitation and go past it. That's how you will surpass. And as far as longevity, you'll start to fall in love with the culture, the people, what hip hop is really about.
Having a lot of well-known female dancers who have a reputation come out to the event and speak their opinion on topics, you know, such as battling or, you know, how they felt, you know, in the dance scene was amazing. Just to be able to hear them express themselves and give advice was honestly just great for all the other females who are aspiring dancers or maybe just starting to get into the scene or, you know, who don't have much experience. Just being able to hear all of that and just take that in and learn from that was amazing without actually having to, you know, go through it.
Experience where it was not a guy that judging, but a girl judging another girl. You know, like, you should not be so manly or whatever. You should be more girl-like. And so, like, I just want to know what you guys, like, if you guys gone through that, and what you guys say about that. That's it.
Yeah, so it was really dope because the audience had some really thought-out questions. So just the fact that they were able to think of these questions and we're all able to talk about it, it just shows how much we are united, you know, because you had people who are breaking, people who are popping, people who are from all these different worlds, freestyle. You know, there's a whole other world that doesn't even have a name now, and I love it. And we all spoke the same dialogue. We all have the same pains, we all have the same victories, and we're all just one. So it was really cool to see that happen.
And remember, it's never balance, it's balancing. No one balances, you are balancing, because sometimes we'll teeter-tot this way and other times we'll teeter-tot this way. So if you need a teeter-tot, you know, to your finances, to your credit score, so you can have the means to teeter-tot this way, don't be mad at yourself for it. That's okay. But Genesis would probably be best able to answer this because, like she said, she went through medical school and continued to break, and she's just been like crushing it, like, you know, worldwide breaking. So I think you could really answer this.
Yeah. So with balancing life, it's day by day. It's trial and error. You know what I mean? Like, so once again, you have to be your own self-motivator in order to keep going. As far as balancing, really pick the times that are most opportune for you. So having goals and prioritizing your time is very important.
I think they represent me specifically in terms of being a female and being new to the scene. This event, She's Got It, is really catered to bringing up women as a whole, and only being in the scene for about 2 years, it's been pretty hard for me to push myself up, so I think that this is a great opportunity for that.
You know, growing up in this dance environment, if I didn't have that background, I wouldn't have had the discipline and motivation that I have today to do what I do. And I'm 34 and I can still do handstands and, you know, and windmills and crap like that, and it sticks with you through life. So they may decide to be doctors, but they'll still have all the skills that they learned from dance. And maybe sometimes it'll be stressful in medical school, and then they can go home and dance and just get all that stress out. It's a stress relief, and it's an outlet. And it makes me mad that they take arts out of education and stuff like that, because it is so important to our culture, and there's so many kids that don't know how to express themselves in a positive way, and they lash out in the most negative ways. And that's what all of this is about, to show these kids that they have options.
It's good for them to hear our stories and how similar it is to what they're going through, because that's exactly what we went through. Even just a few minutes ago, I was talking to another lady that says she's been breaking for about 2 years. And she said that, you know, she was relieved to hear that, you know, people like us felt the same way that she felt, like really nervous and felt like, you know, inadequate, you know, and to hear that, you know, that stuff that we all go through, it was more comforting for her. And I think a lot of other women will look at that too and be like, okay, well, if she could do it, I could do it. And it gives them a sense of empowerment. So yeah, I think it's very impactful on other females to hear other females talk about it. Yeah.
I chose the panel that I chose because they have a lot of background and they have a lot of wisdom underneath their belt. They've been in the scene for a long time, so they really have a good perspective on females coming into a male-dominated community.
Do y'all have any advice for the women who are like kind of like apprehensive or scared to actually travel like to another country or another state, even by themselves or with others, to actually be more comfortable or be more confident like being a woman?
I feel like that's the reason why She's Got It is such an amazing event, because it also brings males out to get a different perspective on the female's perspective.
I don't know if it's me just wanting to be like nice and not look like an a-hole, or if it's just like, if it's because it's a girl and I think I could beat them, or you know, whatever the case may be, because there have been females that I've gone hard at. But then there have been times when people have come to me and be like, yo, you took it too far against that girl. And I'm like, but I went against her like I would a guy. So at what point do we like have a line? Obviously there's a line where I just wouldn't, I wouldn't, no, there's a line.
Chivalry is dead.
But there's a line in which I wouldn't treat just a person in general. Like I don't put my hand to my opponent. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
but like at what point, like I'm wondering if that's like, do you think that also causes like people to hinder, or does it hinder the culture for B-girls or just the female dance community in general whenever guys do that? Or like, what is your take on that?
I want you to give me everything that you would give to anybody else. But then the other line is being not being like disrespectful in a very disrespectful manner to somebody else.
Like to a person in general.
To any person. To any person in general.
And that's just me personally. I can tell when somebody's not giving me their all, and that's when I get frustrated because I'm like, listen, like I'm trying to grow. I can't grow if you're not going to give me everything that you're going to put out, you know?
So I feel like you can still battle, go all, but focus maybe more on your moves and your technique rather than the actual physical of what we are. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like the worst thing that you can do when you're battling a female is mimicking them or making fun of them. Yes, some people do that, but that could be a battle technique for some people, you know, where, like for example, when I was battling all the time, they would always make fun of whack. And they would go, why are you doing whack? And I'm like, what are you doing? You look like a fool. You know what I mean? So it's one for judges to recognize when it's disrespectful, when it's not. But I think as a human person, a human being, you need to respect the other human being for what they are. Does that make sense? Like, go all out on a woman. You know, you should never hold your back. You should never hold yourself back. Never. Because that's making you look silly. Like, why are you doing that? You know? And if somebody ever tells you like, oh, you should have gone off on that girl like that, you need to correct them. Because then their mentality is out of whack too. You know? But as long as you're not physically touching and abusing me in any way and what I am as a woman, I think you're okay.
We're in a time right now where everybody's discussing a lot. There's a lot of topics going on about how we should be treated, how things can be more equal. So I thought it was a kind of a perfect timing, and it also just brings awareness to a lot of different topics. How we work in the field that we do, you know, how are we sexualized too much, or just all the problems that's going on, and it creates communication between males and females, and it's good because it does give us a safe place to showcase and express how we feel.
So that was great. But yeah. So don't hold back. If you really want to see us excel, don't hold back, right? Obviously, and respect females. You know, if you want to see more of us come into the scene, and that's about that because that's the question.
B-boys are very quick to give corrections and helps. Like even if you don't ask for it, oh, you're working on flares? Oh, what you need to do is get your hips up, suck your legs. It's like that's exactly what I'm working on actually. Thank you. So they're really quick to like give advice when you don't need it.
The biggest thing that I took away from the panel was that it was a topic in regards to men giving advice, unwanted or unwarranted advice to women in regards to how they should do their dance styles, what dance styles they should do, solely because I know myself, I know that I often am the person to come up and be like, okay, well, you know, maybe you should try this, maybe you should do that. And sometimes after hearing it, and a lot of women agreeing, it's just unwarranted, unwanted. So just kind of learning to give my advice and my opinion after asked as opposed to implying that it's wanted.
What would you say to the guys who are perpetuating a negative vibe to women and stuff that maybe the guys here don't know about that happens to women? You know what I'm saying? In dancing, you know, speaking about that. And two, you can't speak about the guys who see it and do nothing about it.
I mean, a lot of things do happen. I mean, guys will make comments and y'all think we don't hear it, but girls have like 20/20 ear vision. So it's a basic matter of just like, yo, if I was your sister, how would you want me to be treated? You know? Like, it's really that simple. Like, you know, it's that simple. If I was your future daughter, that would be weird, but if that was the time you cared about, how would you want me to be treated, you know? Like, if you want this to flourish, if you want this, because if all of you guys moved to like China, would there be a scene in Florida? You know, that's the question. So this isn't forever, so we have to find a way to preserve it. And one thing to do it is to make it welcoming. How do you make something welcoming? You respect people, as simple as that. If you think a girl's cute, slide in her DM, don't be whispering around the cypher because we can hear you, because that's annoying. And if your homeboy does it, you know, just chill, bro. That's all you gotta say, chill.
One of the pieces of advice that I took back with me was more so of like speaking up more for when male dancers say things out of the way to like female dancers. Personally, like I'm very for the female dancers, and like even two of my students are females. They're like, I only have female students, so I really would want to protect them. So I would feel the same way about any other female in the scene. So yeah, that advice is really good, and I would say that to any male, really speak up. If you're not the person actually doing that, just really like take that time. It takes like 2 seconds to say something like, yo, chill out, or like really just protecting them.
All these questions come down to the same thing. Do you, and love what you do, and whatever people tell you, I'm so grateful they spent 4 seconds of their life giving it to you, by giving you feedback, good or bad. Like, they literally gifted you something that's, you know, priceless, so appreciate that.
So I just love the fact that we were all able to be out here. I was able to give a voice pretty much to my studio, because this is what I represent. So I'm glad you guys were here and you were able to listen to what we had to say.
And the last 30 minutes of that, She's Got It will ask questions to the audience to try to get a better vibe on how to make She's Got It better.
It's not a question, it's more of an idea.
Yeah.
Don't take it or not.
No, absolutely. That's
I wouldn't mind seeing one guy on the panel, only because I feel like it would bridge a gap with that discussion that we heard as females. I feel like we could talk more.
Yeah.
You know, so I think having maybe one guy on the panel would, I think, kind of bridge some gaps.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree. I was kind of thinking into that idea as well. It's just like making sure it's very well balanced, making sure that it's approachable for everyone. So I definitely want to bridge the gap and have more conversations. So having a guy on the panel would definitely help answer two-sided questions.
I mean, women need empowerment no matter what it is, because our voice has been always kind of dimmed out for years, for centuries. For years and years and years, women have been treated like dirt. It's definitely getting better, it's definitely stepping up, but we definitely need platforms to just say, hey, we're here and this is what we're doing, but we also need to work along with males as well.
If you ever plan on taking She's Got It out of state or making like a tour of it or something like that, what can we do as Florida to help you out?
This event is hard to put together in general. I make it free because I want it to be like a party with the education and with the showcasing of the females and all of that.
It takes a lot of time and energy to put into this. I've been working on this for about 4 or 5 months now, trying to put it together. As the date comes up, there's things that you have to get put together. I have t-shirts that I have completed for everybody. So there's orders to be placed. It's a lot to get put into money-wise, especially since it's a free event. I'm putting a lot of money out of my pocket to make this event happen.
Yes.
Hey, I just want to mention throwing these events, and since this being your second one, you're already showcasing value of what you bring to the events as well, and having a great exchange and bridging certain questions, and I think it's fantastic. And so, like, when you're really thinking about approaching your next event, whether or not to charge, just remember, you know, you're not charging to make a profit. It's not for the profit, but to get things moving. So you could use that profit to help people get out and fly out and come visit and do the panels. And so you could get other, you know, things for the venue and set up things. So really don't have, I know you have a great heart and that's why you don't want to, you know, charge people, but also have a business mentality. In order to grow and move this forward, you got to have, you know, income to make this happen. And everyone who's donating or paying at the door, it's a blessing. You're not robbing them. You're not taking it for personal use. I want to let you know it's okay if you need to charge and cover, because everyone here would be down for that, you know?
Right now for She's Got It, I am focusing in Florida, so I'm trying to take it from Tampa to Orlando, St. Pete, maybe somewhere down south, Fort Lauderdale or Miami area. But overall, I would love to expand to other states, other communities, bringing other female artists together.
Pretty much just, you know, anything Desiree needs, we just tell her, like, listen, anything you need, even if it's just tabling and helping people check in, which is currently what we're doing right now. So we try to use our own individual experiences and talents to kind of support her the most that we can.
Honestly, any like donations that can be given for this, any time that can be put into this from all of you guys, this moment right here where I'm taking 10 minutes to ask you guys for questions and suggestions and things like that.
Not only donations and things like that, but also if you have connections at other studios or whatever, or
discounts at other studios, like let her know, like send her those contacts, you know, vouch for her and her mission, because like that's probably the biggest budget item.
Just add into like how to support events like you was asking, how can as Floridians help her promote, you know, but that goes to any promoting organizer. So there's how many people here today? Just give me a number. 20, 30? Come on, bro. No, there's about probably like over 100 people here. If you go on Facebook, there's not 100 shares. You feel me? If we all shared it one time, yo, I promise you, there'd be like 500 people invite on Jolie's event, but only 34 shares. If we all shared it, that's like 500 shares. You never know. You got 300 people on your Facebook that I don't even have. Yeah. One of those people might like that. Now they doubled it up. That's how we help.
Yeah,
we share, we support, and everything happens.
There's a couple people who drove for more than 3 hours to be in this room and share this experience with other women. And then it's always nice to see what men do come out to support the females when it's not about us anymore. You know, it's not us competing for money. It's not a male-dominant event. So it's nice to see what other men are coming out to support the women and something that's solely about them, and be willing to hear and understand their perspective on a lot of situations and things that they have to deal with our own community. And it forces us men to really look in the mirror and see where it is that we're going wrong, and where can we make improvements to welcome more women.
But we need to start applying what we're talking about. And she has these opportunities still. It's not just these big events. Like, we could still get together and cipher together in session and still talk with each other about this more often than just these big events.
I definitely see She's Got It at least 1 year from now all over Florida. 5 years from now across the US. I think that it's a booming event and it's catching on really quickly, and we have a lot of strong support here in the Florida scene that I feel is gonna push it.
Personally, I would love to just keep this vibe going of everybody coming, sessioning, ciphering, bringing up artists within the community. That's my main goal. Showcasing specific artists that are in the scene that may not be seen that often, and working with people and networking with people and trying to help elevate all of us females in general, and then giving more knowledge to all of the community. So that's basically right now my long-term goal for She's Got It.
I feel like people should come more to She's Got It events because it's something for the community. It's something that Desiree wants to build. It's something very positive. I feel like everybody should come support it.
So with events like this, the gathering is like a family. You see what I'm saying? So for anybody that feels like there's a stranger, even if I don't know you, what's up? How you doing? How you doing? My name is Sky. All right, see, family right there. So these type of events really bring forth people who feel lost, people who feel broken, people who feel depressed, stressed out, anxiety, all that stuff. It really, really helps because it breathes life back into them. Even if it's just for a couple of hours around some people that have good energy, and then they go back home and feel the same way. But for me personally, this is good. It feels good. I'm just sitting here, I'm just looking at everybody just enjoying themselves and answering all the questions. So like, kudos, blessings, everything. This is an awesome, awesome, awesome thing, straight up. Much respect that She's Got It. Much respect.
Thank you so much.
That was
Like
easy.
I said, shout out to Tyrell. Free all his six, free my cousin and all 6 his baby mamas.
Yes.
My homie, he make fire wings for $2.
LD boat.